Hey lovely people, thank you so much for joining me, Suha Anwar, on the third episode of my podcast, Love, Relationships and More. So, today we are going to be talking about what is the most important thing in a relationship and why. But before we get deeper into the topic, I would want you to go and hear the trailer of my third episode that I had just posted a few days ago, because I have a homework for you there, and I think it is really important that you complete that homework before we get deeper into the topic, right? So yeah, you can hear me out on any of the social media programs. You can hear me out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere you want, anywhere you are comfortable, but please do hear that out. So now, for those who have already heard out my trailer and you have already pondered over the homework that I had given you, so let's get deeper into the topic. Okay, so now this is a very controversial question as to what is the most important thing in a relationship. There are so many answers to this, so many opinions, and such a lot of different things, but there has to be something that is the best, that is the most practical answer, right? So we are going to think about that, right? Now, so let's take our first example to be love. For example, if someone says that I think that love is the most important thing in a relationship, but do you really think that love is really the most important thing that should be there in a relationship to keep two people glued to each other for the rest of their lives? Well, if I had to answer that question, I would have taken an example, like I'm giving you guys an example, explaining what would have been my take on this question. So, for example, think of it that there's a boy and a girl, and the girl really loves that boy, but she also has other priorities, like maybe she has her career as her biggest priority. She wants to become an independent woman, but that does not mean that she does not love the guy. But on the other hand, the guy thinks that he earns like enough, for more than enough, in fact, for the two of them, and his girl does not need to go out to work. But he does not understand the feeling behind her wanting to work. It is not to like put him down or something. It's because she wants to have that feeling of self-independence, right? So here both of them need to understand each other and come to a conclusion. So here we can see that even if both of them love each other a lot, like mad people, still love is not enough to keep these two people glued. With time, maybe the girl will not go out to work, or maybe the boy will have to allow the girl to go out to work to keep them together, or maybe they'll go their separate ways, right? If we only bank on love. So now, keeping the first example on hold, let's go on to a second example where what should we take now? Like maybe let's take up what should we take? Okay, let's take up self-respect. Okay, not really self-respect, but respecting the other person. Some people say that we need to respect the other person. We need to have that respect for the other person to make a relationship strong. So again, let's take another example. Sorry. Okay, so let's take another example. So here again, there's a girl and a boy, and this time what happens is the both of them respect each other, but just because the girl respects the boy or the boy respects the girl doesn't mean that they do not have their own opinions. Now guys, you know what, we respect a person on two bases. First, out of fear, and second, because we really love that person. Now if we go by the first thing, that is, we really love that person and thus we respect them. However, we still would have our own opinions, right? And we would never want the other person to dominate us and not hear our opinions or not let us speak up for ourselves. You get what I'm saying, right? So yeah, so over here, still, even if the two people respect each other, there are going to be fights. Maybe the person might keep quiet once or twice or thrice, but not every time, right? There would be a point in the relationship where the person who has always been out of respect, been listening to the other person in spite of doing what they really wanted to do, will revolt back and will say, no, I'm not going to listen to you every time. And of course, also, this kind of a thing, it actually brings in a huge distance between the two people, because over and as time goes by, the person who has been always listening to the other person out of self-respect, because he or she loves his or her partner, would kind of go distance from their partner, because he or she will understand that, okay, fine, just because I'm listening to my partner doesn't mean that they have the right to do this to me every time. I think they should understand me. So even here again we get this thing, and that is understanding. This word understanding is coming in to the second example as well. Now let's go on to two people who respect each other. One person, of course there cannot be two, but it goes like one person is superior and one person is a bit inferior, and the inferior person respects the superior person out of fear. Now, for example, let's take an example of a father and a son. Now, this son, he respects his father, but out of fear. So what do you think is going to happen when he grows up? Do you think that fear is still going to stay? And more than that, do you think the son is going to be very close to his father, is going to have a very good bond? Do you think so? No, right? Not really, of course not. The son is going to grow distant, and of course also that might happen that as the son grows up, of course he will no more have that fear in him, so he's not going to respect his dad anymore, right? And these things we see a lot even in movies, in real life. So that is a very, very, very applicable example, isn't it? I just hope you guys are not getting bored, because that's why this is something really, it's a really, really, really big question. As I said, very controversial, very big, very opinionated, of course. So yeah, so we're talking about two things, love and respect, that are not enough. See, I am not saying that love and respect do not need to be there. Of course it is important, but it is not the most important thing that has to be there in a relationship. It is not one of the fundamentals. Of course in a relationship love and respect should be there, but more than that, in any kind of relationship there should be one other thing that I'm going to reveal to you in this second part of my third episode. So please stay tuned to watch and to hear, actually not watch, listen to my third episode, which second part of my third episode, which will again come in real soon. So yeah, and I would really, and of course also, if you want to give some feedback, or if you want to let me know what you think is the most important thing in a relationship, then please reach out to me. I would really love it if you do. Please reach out to me on my Instagram profile, love laugh live share. I'll be really awaiting, and it'll be a great pleasure to connect to all of you and hear out your responses. So I'll be really waiting, and of course I'm also going to leave you waiting for the second part of the third episode of Love, Relationships and More. So stay tuned, and much love. Stay safe, keep loving, keep spreading this message. Please do share my episodes with people who you love, people, your friends, your family members, anybody you want to share it with, because that gives me a lot more dedication and motivation to make new episodes, to talk about and also preach things that I have learned in my journey of love and relationships till now. Also, if you have any other questions that you would want to ask me, or you would any other suggestions or any other feedback, then of course, please, as I'm saying, please reach out to me on my Instagram profile. Please DM me. So till then, much love, and keep loving, be safe, and stay back at home. Bye bye.